Hello everybody, this is Tafiq Shabi. In the last tutorial we start with the knife script and we have made some typing errors, so let's just change the velocity, and this is the 2D, and before we proceed this is a capitalized I. So now we need to go to the gameplay manager and we need to create our game over function. So here on the gameplay manager, all we need to do is create a new public void and let's call it game over. So this game over, all we need to do is to access to our game manager script and access the variable is game over and assign a true value to it. So we're finished with it. But before we proceed, if we go back here, everything is good. Okay, now we already make a call for our knife head method. It's going to be a part of the circle script. So all we need to do is to access our circle script and we need to create our method. So here let's try to create a new public, and this public is going to be a new void, this void with the on knife head, and it is having one parameter. The parameter with the call we already use one parameter. So on the circle script, all we need to do is create a parameter of the type knife. Now all we need to do is to access the rigid body component of the game object and access and see if it's kinematic, and kinematic is going to be equal to true, and the same we're going to access its velocity, and it's going to be a vector 2 dot zeros. Then we're going to access its transform and we're going to set a new parent for it, and it's going to be transform. Then we need to access the isHitted and let's assign a true value true to it. Then the last thing we need to do is to create a new variable. So here at the top, all we need to do is to create a new variable. For example, let's create it before the start function. So this variable is going to be of type list. So this list will be of type knife. Okay, sorry, this knife, and we're gonna call it headed knife. Okay, and this is not gonna be a new list of knives. Okay, I think everything is okay now. Let's go back to the headed, and now we need to access our Tweener library. So before we proceed, let's just type headed knife dot add. So it's a list. We're gonna add a new item is going the game object. Before that, we need to access the Tweener library and let's apply a new method, call it move local y. It is going to have 3 parameters. The first, as usual, is going to be the game object. We're already applying the code, and the second will be the destination, and the third is going to be the time amount and how many time in how much time the game object will move to the 0, 1 position. And then let's apply another function already introduced by the Tweener library called looping ping pong. We're gonna see next on the scene what this looping ping pong does. So now we're going to introduce an if statement to f. So our headed knife, we're gonna check if our headed knife dot count is equal more or equal to our total knife. But before that, we need to create a new variable, and this variable is going to be of type int. So public int, and this int is going to be the total life. This means how many life the player will have for playing the game. The player is going to start playing the game with 5 knives. So now we are ready to go, and this is going to be our new variable. So here in the f, all we need to do, we need to make another if statement. So we're gonna test if our game manager dot is game over. So if we are not game over, we need to start a new coroutine, and this coroutine is going to be release all life. Release all life. We're gonna be creating this coroutine later. Okay, then after we do that, all we need to do is to go and create this enumerator. So here already finish it with our test. So here we need to create a public enumerator, and we're gonna call it release all knife. We need to do the same name we already of the void we already introduced there. Okay, here we need to focus in order to understand that and in order to do it. But before that, let's access our Tweener library and let's cancel our game object. Okay, after we do that, all we need to do is to access our sprite renderer sprite and enable it. So all we need to do is to hit game object dot get component, and this component we are working with will be of type sprite renderer, and this enabled will be equal to false. Then after we do this, all we need to return a value, but this return is going to wait for returns yield return, and this return is going to wait for some time. So it's going to be a new wait for seconds, or wait for seconds, and we need to be a very small time amount. Okay, after we do that, all we need to do, we need to start with the items on the transform. So we're gonna use for each of type transform. Let's call it item and transform. Okay, for each variable, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna test if item dot transform is equal equals to knife. So this test is going to give us, so if it's okay, all we need to do is to make this item dot get component, and the components we are looking for are 2D box colliders. So box colliders 2D, and this is going of 0. We have 2 box colliders applied to our game object, so this 0 dot enabled equal to false. Then we need to just copy this. We need to access the first one. So we have 2 colliders applied to our game object. Okay, now let's go back, and all we need to do, so this is false. Okay, now let's access our item again, and let's get the component knife. Now we need to access the component knife. Then we need to access the rigid body. Then is kinematic. Then we're gonna assign a false value for it, so equal to false. Then we need to access again our knife variable, our knife, then RB again, and this time we're gonna access the gravity scale equal to 2.5. After this, we're gonna access the RB to freeze rotation, and it's going to be a false. Then we need to access our RB dot angular velocity, and let's just assign a new random dot range, and the range is going to be between 2 values. The first one is going to be -20, and the second is going 20. Don't forget to add the f value to it. Then all we need to do is to multiply what we have by 35. Okay,